So does the idea of working right into your 70s fill you with dread, or can you really not imagine doing anything else? And maybe you think it all really depends on the kind of job you do. If it's very physical, if it's very tiring, maybe you just don't think you'd be up to still doing that same job in your 70s. Let's ask Nick about this one. I mean, I know you obviously love your job. It's quite clear. Yeah. People who might not know what you do, you're a lawyer, and what do they call you, Mr.
Loophole?
Mr. Loophole, because you're always getting people off these different speeding offences and motoring offences, often very rich, famous, usually sportsmen. You're always in the papers.
Television presenters,
etc. And you obviously relish it. You obviously enjoy it.
I love my job. I love my job, and I think if everyone loved their job, they wouldn't consider retirement. I literally don't have any friends who want to retire. When we talk about retirement, what we're really talking about is when we draw the state pension. That's really what we mean, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, when can I draw my state pension? And the reality is we're going to have to extend it. The government has to reconsider every 5 years. And although I think it's 67 now, it's going to go up and up and up. And the point is, it's good for your mental health, it's good for your physical health. And if the government said, look, if you work longer, we're going to provide tax breaks. Maybe you won't, the money you earn, you'll only pay 10% income tax or no income tax. People, I think, would be encouraged to work longer because they like to earn money. They would see an immediate benefit. And I think we'd be much better as a society.
But I wonder, Becca, whether you think this divides into people who, A, are lucky enough to have jobs they adore, which is some people, but not everybody, of course, and B, people who have kind of white-collar jobs where you get to sit down comfortably and get on with what you're doing, rather than people who are out there doing really physical, punishing jobs, which you honestly, frankly, can't imagine them still doing at the age of 70, and you can't imagine wanting them to do them at the age of 70.
I think, exactly. I think it's such a privilege to enjoy your job, isn't it? Because we have to do it every day, but for lots of people, that isn't the reality. And I also think, we weren't put on this earth to work for, 2/3 of our lives. Regardless of what you're doing, I think having the time at the end of your life to enjoy your family, to travel, to rest, whatever you want to do. I think the idea that we were put on this planet to have careers isn't necessarily what kind of God intended. And
I'm glad you're bringing God into we've had the law mentioned.
Well, he's got the law. I'm next to Miss Loophole, so I've got to pull out some big guns. But I just think there's probably more to life than paying in. And when
there is, but they're not mutually exclusive. You can enjoy your family life, your sport, your friendly life, and work. You can't just do, I'm working there for I've got nothing else.
No, of course.
But imagine if, you're in the army. Imagine if you work on an oil rig. Imagine if, for example,
you don't have to carry on with that work, then.
Imagine if you're a kindergarten teacher. Yeah. That's a very physically demanding job. The children are very little. Yeah. Would you like a 70-year-old teacher to be in charge of a large class of, unruly children, for example, a school games teacher? There are lots of jobs where you want the person effectively to be energetic, youthful, and in their prime, whatever that is. And I don't know how many people think 70 is your prime.
Well, it's being pushed into the long grass, isn't it? The older we get, the younger we are at an older age.
Yes, but
I agree.
70.
If you're doing a heavy manual job, I'm not saying you can't work. What I'm saying is maybe if you're on the roads laying tarmac or something physical, you think, okay, I'm going to stop that, but there's something else I can do and make it work with your lifestyle and incentivize people so that they will want to work because it's good physically and it's good mentally.
Jill is on the line in Blackpool. Jill, tell us about your situation, please. Lovely to hear from you.
Okay, I'm 65 now. I'll be 66 in November, and I'm taking my retirement this year.
Yes.
I feel quite ready for it after working for 48 years.
What do you do? What is your job?
I've worked in HR, training, and also as a PA, and currently, I'm working for a health company, working for the practice manager, providing admin support. The reason I think that the retirement age should not go up to 70 is, one, there are a lot of younger people out there that cannot get work, and we need to give those people an opportunity to get into work.
Yes.
I've had health problems for 20 years, and there's times when I've really struggled with work, and I feel at 65 my health issues, they're not getting any better, they're not getting any worse, but they're not getting any better.
Let's get to the good bit, Jill. What are you going to do when you retire? What are your plans? When you imagine yourself retired and you've waited so long, what do you see yourself doing? What are you going to do?
Right. Well, I do actually run a kids' community choir.
Oh, good fun.
Which takes up quite a lot of my time. That's at the Salvation Army in Blackpool.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I'm also involved with the Toddlers Club as well. So I do a lot of admin work for that as well as help to run that.
Right.
And also I'm involved with a local brass band, Poulton Brass Band.
Oh, wow.
I was a player, and my husband's involved as the euphonium player. So I retired myself from playing tenor horn, but I took up the role of band librarian. So those activities, I feel, they're probably going to take up quite a lot of my time. But also I want to do, I've got friends that I would like to go and see. I originally came from Leicester, so there will be some trips down to Leicester, hopefully some city breaks and some holidays.
I've got to say, it sounds great because Jill, look how busy she is. Look how entwined with the community she is. This is Jill, you are like the absolute role model for the universe about what you're meant to do when you retire.
I don't know how she ever had time to work.
Neither do I. Agreed.
listening to that schedule.
I mean, you're obviously an absolute workhorse, but this time you're going to be doing it in a voluntary capacity.
Exactly.
I hope you have a
retired,
wonderful time, Jill. Thank you so much for that call. John's on the line in West Yorkshire. John, you pretty much had enough of working at the age of 60, so did you retire then?
62, actually.
And how was it?
Retirement?
Yeah.
Marvellous.
So what do you do now you're retired? Describe a typical day or week.
What do I do now besides spending most of my day in Wetherspoons?
Is that really what you do?
Well, I do exactly as I like. But if I could say,
yes.
I used to work for electricity board.
Yeah.
Digging holes.
Yeah.
Getting down them, working on live electric cables, and I know very well that I was pushing it at 60-year-old.
Yes.
Never mind being told. How do you expect somebody to dig across a road and mend live electric cables at 70-year-old?
Absolutely, that's exactly what I was trying to say a few minutes ago. But John, Nick says what you should have done, or what you could have done, was give up that job because it was very physically demanding, but get another one, re-qualify, retrain, find another job to do. Did you fancy doing that? Did it occur to you to do that?
Can I ask you the question? Do you intend working till you're 70?
Me?
Yes.
If they pay me, my God, I'm here. 100%. But then look what I do. I get to sit on a sofa and talk to you, and I love it. You see, I'm lucky. I'm one of the lucky ones, aren't I? If I were working in a factory, probably not so keen, John, in fairness. So thank you for asking me the question. I gave an honest answer, but I appreciate it, and thank you so much. Let's go to Deborah, who's on the line in Doncaster. Oh, Deborah, poor you. I'm so sorry. You're not well.
No.
Oh.
Well, what happened was I've worked since I was a teenager.
Yes.
I've been an actress, an entertainer. I've worked even in every job you can imagine. Cleaning when I've been out of work. I retrained, requalified as a hairdresser.
Oh, yeah.
Took me to cruise ships. I've had a very interesting life, and then realised at 60, my back and my limbs weren't too good with the hard work.
Oh, yes.
They made me wait now until I'm 67. I contacted long COVID,
Yes.
and so I've just had different bouts of illnesses, and I can't get well enough to do another job.
I'm so sorry. It looks like you've had the absolute worst of both worlds, Deborah, and really drawn the short straw. What a shame. I'm so sorry. And so many women, of course, as we know, who are trapped in that gap, the difference between what they thought that they were going to
very
have.
sad.
It's very sad. They thought the retirement age was going to be.
It's very sad.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
I hope she's drawing some sort of sickness benefit to supplement it herself.
I certainly
while
hope
she's
so
not working.
too. Let's talk to Brian. Oh, now this is Barbara in Brighton. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, lovely to speak to you. And I must say, Vanessa, that I'm really enjoying your show.
Well, you're saying all the right things, Barbara. We can see you're a charmer. Barbara is working at full throttle at the age of 85. But tell us what you do, Barbara.
I run an antique shop, so it's dead easy. I might as well sit in the shop and meet people as stay at home and get miserable, you know? So that's what I do. So I've got quite an enjoyable life. And also, I don't have to work all the time. You know, if I don't feel good, I can take the time off with it. It just depends on the job you do, whether you can stay on or not, doesn't it? Really?
I think you're right. But tell me a little bit about the antiques that you specialise in. Are you still going out to sales and things like that and sourcing them, or are you selling antiques you've acquired over your whole lifetime, or how's it working?
No, it's not antique. No, because I have sold some that I've had all my life, because I came from a family where we all did antiques anyway. People come into the shop and sell me things. And then people die and I get those, you know, it just depends. But you have to know what you're buying, you know, or else you can lose money.
What would you say is your specialisation? Which are the ones you really love the best?
Well, I like Victorian stuff, really. Victorian furniture I love. And also Chinese china and, you know, that sort of thing, really. But at the moment, I've got old rocking horses, wooden, you know, I've got some very nice things. But it's mixed, really, in my shop, yes.
Where are you in Brighton, if anyone wants to pop in and see you today?
I'm in Rottingdean and I do cream teas on Sunday, so I'd be very happy to see people.
Do you? How lovely to talk to you, Barbara. Thank you so much. That's Barbara, 85.
Perfect example.
And loving the social side.
You can hear it in her voice, can't you?
Yes.
You can hear the enthusiasm, the zest for life. And that's the point to make. If you're lucky enough to find something you're physically able to do, it's clearly good for you.
And it's a long way off for you, this conversation, isn't it?
I don't know, in some lighting, yeah. I mean, Barbara was an inspiration, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Wasn't
fantastic.
that lovely?
Yeah,
that was
absolutely.
Very
fantastic.
uplifting.
It was.
I like that gentleman who said to me, what about you? What would you do? And the answer is, I'd carry on working. As long as they'll have me, I'm in.